Hello everyone, good evening to you all and a happy Liberation Day to all Rwandans living here and abroad. And we'd like to thank you for joining our TV news. We hope you had yourselves a very celebratory day and a very eventful day. And now, at top of our edition tonight, these are our headlines. President Paul Kagame has urged all Rwandans to be people of integrity and stand firm in their resolve never to let themselves repeat the mistakes of the past. Rubavu district residents have thanked the soldiers of what used to be the Rwanda Patriotic Army for liberating Rwanda back in 1994 and commended them of the development that has continued to arise ever since. Once again, we're glad to have you company tonight, coming to you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali. My name is Martina Abera. Starting off our bulletin tonight, President Paul Kagame has urged all Rwandans to be people of integrity and stand firm in their resolve never to let themselves repeat the mistakes of the past. The president made the appeal as the country marked 29 years since the end of the liberation struggle. We have more from the story.
While speaking to the Rwanda Broadcasting Agency, His Excellency Paul Kagame noted that even though it has been almost 3 decades since one aspect of the liberation struggle ended, the journey is far from over. That war eventually ended, but it claimed the lives of many Rwandans in the process. What matters now and what a person can urge Rwandans to do is to listen to wise counsel and be hardworking, learn from our history, and understand that what happened was not fit for us as Rwandans. We should be united, working hard to build our country and develop just like other countries we see around the world. We should be well off and live comfortably, not constantly waiting for handouts and bickering among ourselves, as I said. All that is done and achieved by people. It is not a gift of God or derived in any other way that does not require effort on our part. People must be willing to put in the work. The president also explained why on more than one occasion he has said that he has a debt he is yet to pay back to Rwandans. When I say such things, I mean all leaders in general that I serve with. But I also mean us as Rwandans as a whole, and the fact that we owe this to ourselves as a people. No one will give us what we need without us making the effort to get it. That debt, therefore, has to do with us achieving what we need to. When I say that, my intention is for people to increase their effort and push harder towards our goals, because there is a lot that should be done that is not, and yet we have the capability to get it done. Sometimes negligence is at play, other times people are just doing what they should not. There are always many factors at play. I believe, therefore, the debt has to do with resolving such matters, and I say that as a leader, while at the same time urging others so that those who do good far exceed those who do not, so that we may pick up our speed in our quest. Many of the problems Rwandans continue to struggle with in recent years, however, tend to come from far beyond her borders. Things like the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and the war in Ukraine. But yet again, the head of state pointed out that if the country is vulnerable to such things, it is because Rwandans themselves have not yet been able to protect it from them. Prices go up because demand is not being adequately met. Take maize, for example. When farmers do not grow enough, then maize cobs must be imported, and that drives the price up. However, if we all work together to increase local production, the government playing its part to increase investment, with the private sector and local residents also playing their part to increase harvests, then something can be done. The effort cannot be one-sided. The president was also asked about the sports sector that has continued to see a somewhat dismal performance despite the country investing heavily in the proper infrastructure, and this is what he had to say.
bari aho bari mu ndagu, bari mu marozi, bari mu ugasanga.
They are busy going into things like witchcraft and giving bribes, wasting half of the energy and resources they should be using to get actual tangible results. We cannot make progress as a nation like that. It must stop. I hear of such things from afar, but now I am going to rise up and deal with such people. And they know they cannot win in such a confrontation if they continue on that path. Such bad habits only lead to defeat.
The
29th liberation anniversary of Rwanda comes as the RPF Inkotanyi party that led that liberation struggle and has continued to drive Rwanda's transformation over the decades is celebrating its 35th anniversary and has re-elected President Paul Kagame to continue leading it.
In an exclusive interview with RBA, President Paul Kagame once again reiterated on the security issues in the region, where he noted on the recent released reports of UN, a group of experts. President Paul Kagame pointed out the disregard for the peace responsibilities of the United Nations, which deliberately ignores the role of FDLR, the Genocides Militia, which operates in the eastern DRC.
Because if you look at, again, the report, there is highlighting some aspects of problems here. You always say M23, M23. M23 is everybody's problem. It has become an international issue, problem. I think M23 affects Europe, affects America, affects Africa, and they are quiet. They speak in whispers when it talks about FDLR, when they're talking about over 120 armed groups in Eastern Congo. They only highlight M23 and ADF, yes, ADF, they talk about ADF. Sometimes even trying to create an equivalence that M23 and ADF are equivalent. But FDLR, these genociders, who have now become part of really the National Army of DRC, have been armed, they are known, we have names, ranks, we know, but they assume these people don't even exist, that it is not even a problem that we should be talking about.
President Paul Kagame also noted that there is a need of the political will for the African countries to implement the agenda of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area.
We need political will almost in everything that we have to do. The fact that we put CFTA in place, for example, required political will, and political will not of just one country or two, but all of us on our continent. And the numbers so far are good in terms of those who came forward and said this is the right thing we should do. And when you look at those who signed, those who ratified, the countries, almost all of them, were in some cases were at 47 or 44, 47, those who ratified, then we have others who signed, above 50 of the countries on the continent. So that's a good step.
Rubavu district residents have thanked the soldiers of what used to be the Rwanda Patriotic Army for liberating Rwanda back in 1994 and commended the government for the development that has continued to arise ever since then. Celebrations to mark the liberation anniversary at the national level were held in the district in the Western Province. We have more.
142 families in Rubavu district now live in the modern settlement of Muhira in Rugerero sector that cost more than 18 billion Rwandan francs to complete, and on Tuesday it was officially inaugurated by Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente on behalf of President Paul Kagame.
Nukuri ndashima.
I am honestly grateful for the liberation of the country and those who played a role in that struggle, especially President Paul Kagame. May God continue to bless him. Thanks to him, people like us, some of the most vulnerable in society, are living in such nice homes. On a day such as this, as we celebrate the liberation.
The
settlement has its own market, carpentry center, health center, and daycare center for toddlers that caters to the needs of up to 180. During the celebrations to mark Liberation Day, the Prime Minister urged all Rwandans to preserve what has been achieved.
Mboneyeho no kwibutsa abanyarwanda bose muri rusange ko ibikorwa byatashywe uyu munsi nkuko nabivuze bitari bya Rubavu gusa.
Let me remind all Rwandans in general to care for our country's infrastructure, not just the settlement that was inaugurated here in Rubavu district. Roads and health clinics must be properly maintained, the hospitals as well. And when it comes to schools, not only must we do that, we should also send our children to them. There is no point in maintaining them if they are not being used. Let us therefore send our children to school so that they may acquire the knowledge they need to one day become responsible citizens as adults. The Prime Minister also expressed his condolences for those who were affected by the recent natural disasters and also urged local leaders to listen to the people they serve, pointing out that no local leader can effectively serve by ignoring his community. 93% of people in the district now have access to clean water, while 71% have access to electricity.
Experts in the Rwandan diplomacy say that the good image that the Rwandan community has in the international arena for the last 29 years is based on a stable governance that made the world see Rwanda as a resourceful partner. We have more.
Only 1 month after Rwanda was liberated, Dr. Charles Murigande then became the head advisor to the president on foreign affairs and later continued in New York as one of Rwanda's diplomats in the United Nations. The whole international community did not have hope in the restoration of the country Rwanda. Some even thought that the government that went into power after 1994 will not last long. Almost all countries didn't want to work with Rwanda. Even those that wanted to contribute to its rebirth didn't want to give financial aid. They decided to put up a fund that was controlled by UNDP, so whenever we needed our own money, that's where we would go to ask for it.
UNDP amafaranga yacu.
Ambassador Joseph Mutaboba became the first person to be in charge of foreign affairs at the Rwandan embassy in Washington after Rwanda's liberation. He says that even among the embassy staff themselves, nothing was as it seemed.
Ugasanga buri kanya mvuye nko kuri State Department nagera kuri ambasade.
Every time I would be coming from the State Department, and then I would be summoned. They would tell me that my superior is saying something totally different from what I was saying, trying to pit us against each other. We truly fought so many battles. We were like two different governments in one. When I went to showcase the documents that allow me to represent my country, they expected me to speak ill of it. I did not, but that became an issue as well. Little by little, Rwanda continued to build its image in the international community, things Dr. Murigande and Ambassador Mutaba believe is based on stable governance and standing on its own word.
Iyo nta kintu uriho ukora mu gihugu ubanye n'amahanga ntacyo bwageraho.
When you are not doing anything in the country, the Foreign Affairs Department doesn't amount to anything, because that department mirrors what the government is doing and in turn gives hope to the international communities. Slowly by slowly, even the countries that didn't want to work with Rwanda saw that Rwanda is a country that keeps her word and we are a stable country that one can be able to work with. This was recently reiterated by Seychelles President Wavel Ramkalawan when he received President Paul Kagame during his visit to Seychelles last week when the citizens celebrated the 47th anniversary of independence.
You are an example to the whole world that Africa, indeed, can be a has great leaders. You led your country through so much difficulties, and today Rwanda is considered as one of the safest countries in the world. Women find themselves in total security, and we want to emulate your example. Whilst you were the chairman of the African Union, you gave the continent hope. You came forward with solid plans, and to this day, we are still reading through the pages of your vision, and it's that vision that Africa truly needs.
Currently, Rwanda has 41 embassies abroad that are represented in 147 countries and in various international organizations. In the near future, the number of Rwandan embassies abroad will be increased by 3 new ones, including those in Saudi Arabia, the Czech Republic, and Malaysia, where the preparations for opening them are underway. Rwanda has embassies in 19 countries in Africa, 9 embassies in Asia and the Pacific, and 13 in Europe and America. It also has missions that represent its interests at the level of 37 consulates. At the regional and international level, Rwanda is currently a member of 201 international organizations. On the other hand, 42 foreign countries also have their embassies in Kigali, while other 70 are also represented in Rwanda. But their ambassadors are based outside Rwanda. It is while other 20 are represented in Kigali at the level of consulates, and 36 international organizations also have representatives in Rwanda. Rwanda's foreign policy is based on 2 important pillars, which include contributing to peace and security within the country, in the region, in Africa, and around the world through good relations with the world. Pillar number 2 is to contribute to economic development through cooperation in development, investment, tourism, exchange of knowledge, technology, international trade, and integration with other countries, especially those in the region.
Individuals who were present in the city of Kigali when it was being captured by Rwanda Patriotic Army of then on the 4th of July in 1994 say they always remember the comforting words they were told after being rescued from the Interahamwe and the then government who had escaped. Shina Teta with more.
On 4th July in 1994, the people of Kigali city celebrated its capture by the former Rwanda Patriotic Army, even though many of those that were celebrating the victory had lost a lot of family members. Individuals who were rescued by the Rwanda Patriotic Army say they have always kept at heart the comforting words they were told by those soldiers.
Inkotanyi arrived around 2 p.m., telling us not to worry, saying that although many have died, no one will die again because we're here.
On this day in 1994, I was so scared, and they came telling us, "Come here, we are the Rwanda Patriotic Army, and we do not kill." We felt happy and emotional. I entered the house where I lived with 18 children, and feeling scared, but I decided to go out. Daniel Shimimuremyi, who happened to be among the Rwanda Patriotic Army, was in Kigali when the Rwanda Patriotic Army soldiers captured the city of Kigali, and although he found many of his relatives already killed,
defeating Habyarimana's reign and capturing Kigali from Bagosora, it's unforgettable. Many were too happy to believe what was happening, while others were scared due to bad acts they had done.
Rwanda ranks 9th among the 54 African countries with a high life expectancy from 48 years in 1994 to 69 years, and some individuals that were present here in Kigali on 4th July 1994 say they had no hope to live. I had no hope of life. I did not believe I would exceed 2 months, and our house was old-fashioned, but we renovated it because we got hope to live longer. And our children acquired education and completed their studies, which we had no hope for. Juste Gashaija, who was a businessman before 1994, expressed that he was feeling discouraged to invest again, but later drove encouragement from good governance of Rwanda and therefore engaged in business again.
As an individual who lived in Gachiriro, then later relocated to Gisozi, I don't have what to say. I was the representative of Adargwa, and I can't thank God enough for using our leaders to help many business people. We built roads with help from the government. I again thank our president, His Excellency Paul Kagame. Without him, we would be nowhere.
nongere nshimire nyakubahwa perezida wa repubulika iyo tutagira umuyobozi utekereza nkawe tuba turi inyuma ya Somalia.
After defeating the then government's army that was behind the occurrence of the 1994 genocide perpetrated against the Tutsi, Rwanda Patriotic Army captured the city of Kigali on 4th July 1994. Shinateta, RTV News.
Now, as Rwanda celebrates 29 years of liberation, foreigners in Rwanda demonstrate that they are proudly contributing to the development of this nation. Prince Manzi with more.
Whilst expressing himself in Kinyarwanda, Valan Jayenda, an Indian national, demonstrates how with the past 15 years he considers himself Rwandan and not planning to relocate.
15 years, you are not become, you say you are not like Indian. Now you are my brother of Rwanda. If I travel to anywhere, if I go to any place, they treat me like we are like brother from like other mother. And really, I love Rwanda and we like Rwanda, and I wish even me and my family are wishing all the life we are staying here. And also, since my children are here, and they're staying here, they're studying here, and they'll feel free. There's no any issue in Rwanda.
Valand is an entrepreneur downtown in Kigali city. He demonstrates how he understands the essence of Rwandan's liberation celebrations, as in what they have to appreciate includes security and obvious development.
Suppose someone who went like in that period, and if he came back now to Rwanda, they will say like Rwanda is very, they shock like, this is the Rwanda when we left before, and now we are in Rwanda. When I came that time, I seen like that time there is no many building. Nowadays I seen like infrastructure house going fast. And what is like a dream of the Kagame, Rwanda, they want to make them like the Singapore of Africa. And I seen, they're making. The soldier and the police, all the security people, they always doing like well struggle. They are doing the very good things for us, because then thereafter we are sleeping well, we are moving well, we are feel free, we are fearless.
This is also emphasized by Kanagaraj Rajagopal, the general manager of the Dr. Agaras Eye Hospital Rwanda, that currently has 2 branches in Rwanda. Rajagopal states that the reasons for Rwanda to be one of the first African countries to have branches of this international hospital include security and easy to do business destination.
Rwanda is one of the easiest country to do the business. You have everything under one-stop solution center. So from RRA, RDB, we get very good support from every department, and it makes our work easier. I would say Rwanda is one of the best for safety wise. So we feel more secured, and we feel more safety here.
The statistics from the 2022 population and housing census demonstrates that in Rwanda there are 3,666,785 lifetime immigrants. Prince Manzi, RTV News.
Some of the youth say that the fact that Rwanda was liberated and is now a safe country is what motivates them to work hard to promote and strive for the development of the country as a whole. Jessica Gasaro has more.
Uwachu Grace is a 30-year-old girl who declares that after graduating from the university, the first job she did was the one that gave her the idea to start her own business. Currently, she runs a real estate listing and marketing business.
I'm a real estate agent working at Elimo Rwanda, as well as a content creator for both real estate and travel.
Just like other young people who work in different sectors, they say that they are thankful that they are currently in a safe country, which also makes them work hard and want to improve what they do.
The opportunity that I see from Kwibohora is the chance to wake up every day and live in my country, tap into every opportunity. I feel like I owe it to myself and to the people, to the brave men and women that fought so hard to give us this country, to tap into every opportunity that Rwanda has to offer us today.
I thank the president, the RPF. I thank all of them because of the peace we have today, because of the cleanness we have in this country. They make many tourists come in the country. My wish is to profit all of that, to improve my things, to make my own stuff, to have my industry. Yeah, that's my dream.
I woke up and I go to work. I am able to buy some of the things I need. If I started this in a country with no security, I wouldn't be where I am today. But since there is security, I get to grow, evolve. I even think I have no reason to go chase life in another country. I have to stay in my country because it is safe and what I do is secured. The Ministry of the Youth has recently launched a major project called Aguka, which is expected to provide employment to 100,000 youth within 4 years. Minister of the Youth, Dr. Otumaskishima Abdallah, reiterates that the youth should give a direct path to what they want to do.
Sometimes as a young person, you have many thoughts on your mind. When they talk about ICT, now you want to join ICT. And if we say agriculture, you say you will be in agriculture. So for ideas to be potent, your ideas must be specific. You need to be a specialist in your own project. Find something to do and do it well.
An expert in statistics and community development and a professor at the University of Rwanda, Dr. Inyas Kabano, states that the youth is a great strength to the country because those who are of working age are productive to the country and they are paying taxes that are used for development activities. However, the youth are required to understand the meaning of liberation.
The youth of this country needs to be awakened and needs to look further. Not to be distracted by what they see, what attracts them, what they read on social media. They need to liberate themselves. They need to liberate themselves from poor mindset, poor thoughts. I always tell my friend students, guys, you should never think that being an intellectual is acquiring higher degrees, higher diplomas. Being an intellectual means what? It means in whatever you do, in whatever you plan, you use your intellect.
The population and house census conducted in 2022 showed that Rwandans have the hope of living a long and healthy life because it is currently around 70 years old. This means that today's youth have a long time ahead of them to serve the country and its development. In Rwanda, 65.3% of the Rwandans are under 30 years of age. Jessica Agasaro, RwandaTV News.
The Association of Genocide Widows Agahozo has commemorated for the 29th time the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, marking the end of the commemoration period where they highlight that the 100 days of commemoration helped them to preserve the genocide's history. Sheena Teta with more.
The commemoration was preceded by visiting, bowing and laying wreath to Tutsi laying in rest at Gisozi Memorial Site, and members of the Association of Genocide Widows Agahozo and its leaders were explained to the history of the 1994 genocide perpetrated against the Tutsi. Members of the Association of Genocide Widows Agahozo highlight that as years go by, the commemoration of the 1994 genocide perpetrated against the Tutsi demonstrates more merits and worth. As a genocide survivor and as we keep remembering our loved ones that we lost, the commemoration has yielded more merits as years go by. People might say that we have forgotten about the genocide given all these years that have passed, No, we have not forgotten. And through meetings we conduct as genocide widows, we address challenges faced and we are able to help each other out.
ariko iyo twamumenye turagerageza tukamufasha kandi bikamugirira akamaro.
The president of the Association of Genocide Widows Agahozo, Immaculée Kayitesi, noted that despite some challenges that are still faced, including bad acts which imply genocide ideology, during these 100 days of commemoration, progress was observed, highlighting the discovery of bodies and laying them to rest in the respected memorial sites. Some of our members have not found bodies of their loved ones yet, so that we can lay them to rest in the respected areas. But genocide ideology has reduced in some ways compared to how it was before. So much has been done, yes, but it's not on a satisfying level. The Minister of Education, Valentine Uwamariya, says education has a great role to play as far as preserving the history of the 1994 genocide is concerned, which is to emphasize unity in all teachings delivered to students in schools. First is teaching about the true history, because people had been taught about false history in the past. We have books and all resources to display true information. Priority should be building a culture of unity, because genocide occurred due to disunity that was among Rwandans. We have different programs in schools linked to Rwanda. All we do has to be based on unity. The Association of Genocide Widows Agahozo was established in 1995 to help reintegrate genocide widows back into the Rwandan society following the challenges encountered during the 1994 genocide. Shina Teta, RTV News.
Once again, we'd like to thank you for sticking with us on RTV News. On behalf of the news production team and I, we would like to wish you a great night. Happy Liberation Day once again. My name is Martina Avera. Stay safe.